Hey everyone, Dockwell here, and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be the 5-position tier list for patch 7.35C, and let's just jump into it because I already said all the stuff about the patch. The joke's stale. Who gives a shit? Honestly, let's just jump into the thing. It's the average pub MMR, whatever. Yeah, so let's just go to S tier, Tree and Protector. So Tree, just annoying as always. Just this guy does 4,000 damage with his right click. So you literally just run up to a support and you click him twice and he's dead. And then you just click a couple buttons and you just heal and you stop them from running away. And it's just like, what is this guy doing? He's just weaving between trees. And now we have to buy Quelling Blade for every hero because there's 50 different heroes that use the freaking trees these days with the Tree and Protector and the Hoodwink and the Nature's Prophet and every support uses the damn trees. It's so annoying, man. And this guy's just running around having 4 billion HP and a jillion movement speed, and just the laning stage is ridiculous. And then this guy's healing your freaking towers, and then he's in the late game, he's rooting everybody, and the root goes through every freaking ability, and you can't dispel it, but then you do dispel it, but it doesn't even matter because you already press BKB, but you also buy Manta because Manta's good, but it doesn't matter either because this hero is just insane. He waited till you even pressed all those things and then blinked in from the trees, and then he pressed that ability. You get it. You get it, guys. This hero is insane. He's very good. He just does insane damage. He secures the laning stage super well and just has a great teamfight ultimate and just can be annoying in a million different ways. And so he's still really good right now. And there's just nothing else to say about the hero, honestly. And then if you're in low MR pubs and you're getting farm and you're just I don't know, maybe you're just buying items to split push and stuff like that, like Meteor Hammer and things, and then you're just getting insane farm, and then you're buying Ags and you're putting the Ags trees everywhere. You see, I'm going on another rant. I'm just saying you do that and nobody buys sentries. Nobody even knows the Quelling Blade exists after 30 minutes anyway, so everyone's just panicking, running around in a circle, and you see them in vision and you're just laughing and everyone's just ha ha, the enemy's Dumbo. But yeah, that's literally just what this hero does, and he's just very, very good. And then we have Pugna, good as a 5 position right now, just one of the best 5 positions because of the save and all the different things, and I don't think he's as good as other heroes in the 4 position, but the 5 position, very, very good right now if you know how to play him. There's nothing special to be said about the hero, honestly. It just does everything it's always done. It seems like it was powerful, a year or so ago, maybe 6 months or so ago. Then it got nerfed a bunch. It kind of disappeared, and people then have realized, no, wait, I think it actually just does the same thing that it always did, and it's still very good. And that is definitely true. Just healing people, doing insane damage later, just saving people with the decrep, but also the ult and everything like that. And then Lion, again, just the best support hero all around right now. If this hero is available, just pick the hero. Just straight up do it because all the stuns, everything I talked about in the 4 position video already. If you haven't watched it, go look at that. I'm not going to repeat everything, but really the Mana Drain was the worst ability that this hero had. It was kind of the reason why the hero wasn't picked because everything else is pretty good. This is just a little bit too much damage, there's no control, so it's just kind of a little bit of a weird ult. But this ability just sucks, so it really just had 3 abilities, and now this is arguably its best ability. His best ability is now Mana Drain, especially with the shard, so that just changes the whole dynamic of the hero. He becomes a mini, almost better version of Pugna in a lot of ways, and then also has the stuns. So that's Lion for you. These heroes are just broken, insane, ridiculous, and very good right now, and that's just S tier. There's not too much else to say about that this patch because the 5 position isn't the most interesting thing right now. And actually, I am going to talk about this little guy over here because really, if we're being 100% honest, this guy is the S tier hero. He's double, triple S tier, but you're not picking him, you're not playing him, your team doesn't know what this, no one's ever picked Chen below 4K, and if they did, they just griefed the game completely, and everybody abandoned before it was 10 minutes in, and nobody knows what's going on, and they're wait, is this a League of Legends hero? I don't know what's happening. This guy has this is a man riding a horse, and his name is literally just a normal name of a human. You're just what? Who is this? Stop. And but he's commanding the creeps, and it makes no sense. And so because I'm confused, you're definitely going to be confused. So just don't pick the confusing guy because it's not going to work out well for you. If you want to know for real why it's not going to work out well, because it's all about team play, it's all about auras, it's all about grouping up, it's all about saving, it's all about the things that don't matter at all in low MMRs. That's all it's about. And so you just have no impact because everyone's oh, what do we do here? Yeah, we AFK farm jungle for 30 minutes. And Chen's just oh, yeah, that's not what sorry. I guess I'll see myself out. So this is A tier that we're moving on to here, and Undying, just I think a worse version of Tree, just obviously a little bit different, but a tanky, good support in the lane that can just dominate, especially against strength heroes and all that kind of stuff. But I think this hero was like giga broken for a long time. It's just been slightly nerfed over the years or over the months, over the patches, but still very, very good, to be honest. Like, it's still reliable, still good against all these strength guys, and still has a good, team fight ability that just makes, especially people low MMRs, just like chaos. They scramble. They don't know what they're doing. They're like, oh my gosh, those zombies. Do we kill the thing? Do we run away? Half the people are killing it. Half the people are running away. Everyone's running around chicken with their head cut off. And so that just happens all the time at low MMRs. And then we are transitioning into, I don't even know what that word that I was about to say was, transitioning into Warlock and even Witch Doctor and some of these other heroes that are just good at low MMRs, because this hero carries the game. This is carry from the 5 position. You're just like pretending to be a support. You're like, oh yeah, here you go. I'll heal you guys. Oh, hey, yeah, I'll slow the guy, which the slow is good. Don't get me wrong. The slow is very good these days. But like, oh, I'll slow them, guys. Haha, I'm totally a support. Oh, I'll link them. Oh, I'll help you do more damage. But really what you're doing is you're just like, you're waiting for that ultimate. You're getting Ag's Refresher and you're running in and you're pressing R and then you're linking them all twice and then you're slowing them giga slowed and they literally all die to the Golem of Hell. That's what you're doing. And so that's why it's really good. And otherwise it's not good. But at low MMRs, it's really good. And to be fair, it's been buffed a lot. And so it is kind of getting up there where it's definitely pickable at high MMRs, where this hero was like Giga F negative Z tier like before a year ago or so. But it's actually getting more viable even at high MMRs. Same thing with Witch Doctor. Kind of been nerfed a lot here and there because it actually was so powerful at one time at high MMRs, and now it's kind of like they're not playing it as much anymore. But at your MMR, it's going to be powerful still. You're still deleting everybody off the map. Maledict still owns everyone in the laning stage, and it's just like people are running around out of position like crazy, and they're just like, oh, I'm Maledicted, what do I do? And you just kill them. And then late game, like if you just buy a Glimmer Cape, people don't know what to do, and you just, ult them twice and they all die. That's just what happens on Witch Doctor. You carry the game from the 5 position. Another one where it's like, hey guys, yeah, I have a stun, and a heal. I'm totally a 5 position, but no, you're not. Ancient Apparition, kind of similar in this way. You're doing a ton of damage. This is actually more of a serious pick though, because this hero is just really good against a lot of these tanky heroes. I don't think it's as good as it once was when it was like the heart meta, when there was like Necro and Kunkka building heart. Everyone was building heart. There's still a lot of tanky guys in the off lane these days, and a lot of healers and things like that with, all this like Pugna and stuff like that. So that's why this hero is still really good. It's just not as good as it once was, but it is very reliable. You can definitely carry games. You can definitely have insane impact. It's just you obviously have to be hitting your abilities, which can be a little bit difficult sometimes. And then we have techies, kind of an A-tier support all around. So if you want to play support, just pick this if line's banned. Good 4 position, good 5 position. The real problem is the stun's not reliable, so just be careful with that. But you do insane damage, again, like these other 5 positions. And then you do significant right-click damage with your crazy range. So that's why your laning stage is a little bit better. People don't really know how to deal with the mines as well, so you can definitely secure your safe lane pretty good farm. And then Lich, I might put Lich over here and with these other noob supports where it's just like, hey, I'm totally a support, guys. I have a fear stun thing. I have nukes. I have all this stuff. But really what you're doing is you're waiting till 15 minutes. You're buying the shard or the shard. You're putting down this shard that's like better than your Ags, which is just, it's crazy that some of these heroes have better shards than their Ags even. And you're putting that down. You're like, okay, I'm going to ult this one guy, and then they're just deleted. They're dead. You're literally solo picking off the mid or whatever, or the carry or the off lane, or you're just like solo picking off people in the side lane by yourself. And then in a team fight, you're just like running around from the back lane, you're like, oh, I see this guy isolated. You're dead now. See ya. And then then people buy BKB and then your game's over. But, even so, you can wait around, help people out with the shield and stuff like that. And then once the BKBs are down, then you can also own people after that as well. And then we have Venge. Now, the big problem with this hero is that you're not going to be getting as much farm from the 5 position, but you're still very effective. I like this hero a lot better as a 5 position than as a 4 position because you don't necessarily need the farm. You don't need to get the Ags. You can just be effective with what you're doing. And I think the big thing is that all the shields and going Solar Crest and all that kind of stuff can be very annoying, even though you're very much a team play hero. It's just better from the 5 position, and you can be very effective with it. With the double stun and all the different support that you provide from the 5 position, we still at least have one role in the game that doesn't need all the farm and can actually be effective without farm. Give it another 2, 3, 4 years, and the map's going to be 10 times. It's going to be like Dota's just going to become, a battle royale or something like that. And like every hero is going to have 10,000 gold to start. And, it's just going to be turbo or whatever, who knows. And support's just going to be gone. Shadow Shaman, discount Lion. Same thing I said in this 4-position video. Nothing special, nothing extra to say here, really. Just a pretty good hero all around. And like I said, it got buffed with that Hex damage amplification, which is pretty good. And then Grimstroke, like I said, in the 4-position video, was like D tier or C tier or something, because it was definitely viable. But it just wasn't as good as a 4-position, because this hero just does everything it needs to do with his abilities. It doesn't need farm, which is always really good. It's great to have a hero that doesn't need the farm. It doesn't need anything to be effective, and that's definitely Grimstroke. If you want to get items, you can definitely do that, and it can definitely help, but you don't need it. So that's pretty much why this hero is good right now. People are picking a lot. It's very effective. Then we have Bat Rider and Enchantress. I just put Enchantress up here. Honestly, we might even be able to put Enchantress is like almost in the Chen tier. I was about to do that, but that's not right. This hero can definitely be good from the 5 position. It's just more of a 5. That's also why I put it lower in the 4 position, because it's just definitely played more of a 5. It just, if you want to play this hero, spam it. Get good at it, know what you're doing, and be effective, because otherwise you're just feeding and being annoying and having 0 health, and a Zeus is hitting you twice and you die. So just keep that in mind. That's kind of similar to Bat Rider, where it's like, this hero is really good as a support right now, but mostly for high MMRs. It's probably S tier, but that's why I'm putting him here, because like I think he's down here for mid MMRs, but I'm kind of evening it out, saying if you want to play him, he can be A tier, but you just have to get good with him, just like I said in the 4-position video. So that's A tier. Next, we're going to move to B tier. Shadow Demon, pretty good support, I'd say, right now. In fact, I might move him up a little bit. Actually, what did I put him as the 4 position? Yeah, I put him there. I'm stupid. I'm gonna put him over here. I'm dumb, guys. I think this guy's more of a 5. So I don't know I don't know why I did that. So this Shadow Demon is good. Yep, he saves and he poisons and he has the spells that do good stuff. So I said those things in the other video. So yeah, definitely do that. I play him a lot. You can tell because I have a 1 next to his name. That means I'm the #1 player of this hero. Next we have B tier. B tier we have Venno. Definitely a better 5 position, because like I said in the 4 position, this hero just feels bad when you don't get items and nobody's playing around you, because you just fall off very quickly after like 20 to 30 minutes, and that's when this hero shines. But at your average MMR, the games are going late and people are getting their farm. It's just that as a 5 position, you don't have to care about that as much. You can still just press R on people, press a Gale, put some wards around, be annoying. It's like, okay, if that's all your impact or your shard or whatever, if that's all you're doing, then you don't have to be too upset about that. I mean, it just is what it is, and you can kind of just like feed after you get your abilities off, and no one's going to cry. It's just not the best, because obviously you don't have a reliable stun and stuff like that, but it's still pretty good. You're dishing out good damage compared to some other heroes. Like you're dishing out more damage than an Undying, I'd say, probably. At that stage of the game. It's just that you fall off more. Then Jakiro, just a good average, run-of-the-mill support. There's nothing special to say about him. I just think he's good. He's solid. Just doesn't have as much impact as these potentially at average MMRs. And that same thing with Disruptor. I think he's good. He has a great ultimate. He has good positioning abilities. It just can sometimes be hard to land them or land all your spells correctly. And then obviously if you get an Ags later, which is a little bit more difficult because his farm, isn't that great, but need to coordinate around with the ganks with your teammates and stuff like that, so it can be a little bit difficult, but definitely very solid, very good to pick. You're just not probably going to carry the game by yourself until you get Ags, but yeah, that's Disruptor. Same thing with Jakiro. I think Jakiro is really good, actually. I mean, it's definitely viable. If anything, these heroes could be like higher on the tier list. It's just not like that like cheesy solo win the game as much, even though the Ags is pretty good. And that's the same thing with Crystal Maiden. I think Crystal Maiden is very good right now, probably A, almost even S tier in a lot of ways, in high MMRs, but it is squishy. The movement slow is very bad. There's a lot of negatives to the hero. That's why I just think for the average player, it is relatively difficult. Not because like there's anything crazy special about the abilities that it's like high skill. It's just like, if you're going to feed on a hero, you're going to feed on Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden is just like the quintessential I'm feeding guys hero. Like, it just is what it is. I don't know if people, like to feed because they're this Crystal Maiden and everyone loves her and they just want to, jump on top of her with all of, their heroes and kill her in the game. But maybe that's why, I don't know. But no, she's just very squishy and it's very easy to bring her down. So you have to be careful with your positioning and stuff like that. Next we have Phoenix, I just think it's good. You can definitely carry with it. That's why I put it here, because it's another one of these heroes that's like if you can carry from the 5 position with like no items. But be careful, because if you don't have any stuns on your team, you're picking this. I mean, obviously you're picking it first in the draft anyway, so it's more your team's fault. But still, you're kind of like setting yourself up for failure when you don't pick a stun on the 5. You just better be hitting your fire spirits in lane. Otherwise, you're like, what are you really doing? So just be careful with it. But you can definitely carry games. And then Winter Wyvern, very good. Actually, did I forget Winter Wyvern in the 4 position? I think I did. But I feel like Winter Wyvern probably would be kind of low on the 4 position tier list, just because I think it's good. Don't get me wrong. This hero is pretty good right now. It's good as a core. It's good as a support. But I think at higher levels, you just have to know how to use the ultimate. Are you really buying Witchblade as a 5 or as a 4? As a 5, definitely not, but you don't need to. As a 4, you'd want to, but that's why I'm kind of like would put it way down on the list as a 4. Probably why I didn't include it. But, it's definitely good. I wouldn't suggest not picking it at all. That's why it's B tier. It's still pickable, of course. But there's just things about it I don't like at the average MMR, because high MMR just takes more skill, weaving in and out, knowing when to use your ultimate, not griefing your team with your heal. There's all these more complicated things that just I don't love about it. And you're not getting your farm to like go carry items like Hoodwink. And Hoodwink, this is the thing. The reason this hero is good, and the reason why it's here, I guess similar to Winter Wyvern in a way, is that it's going to carry items. It's going for the Gleipnirs and all that kind of stuff. And yes, you can do it from the 5 position, but it feels way worse. It's more griefing than in the 4 position. And like I was saying with these other heroes, this is the one role still that doesn't get farmed. So it's just awkward. And that's the same thing with Mirana. It's like you can... you have that stun, you have your ultimate that's really good for team fighting, especially at low MMRs, which is mainly why it's here, why it's average, because just pressing R at any MMR below 4K or 3K or whatever, just pressing that button automatically gives you an advantage in every fight, because nobody buys dust, nobody has sentries, people don't know what they're doing, and so that's why. But yeah, it just feels a little bit awkward with these heroes because they need farm and stuff, and it just doesn't feel as good in these average MMR games. So that's B tier. Next we have C tier. You can definitely pick these heroes like Nature's Prophet. I don't love at 5. I just hate, like I said before, hate when it's on my team, hate when it's on the enemy's team, just hate the hero all around. I just don't like it. It's also getting nerfed, so it's Snapfire, good all-around support. Definitely not as good as a lot of the other ones. You can get your farm, all that kind of stuff I said before. Maybe not as bad in the 5 position because you don't need the farm, but you can at least get it if you need to or if you want to, but still falls off a little bit later. Elder Titan is actually pretty good right now, overall. I think he's getting picked a little bit more. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I just saw him a couple games. But I think he's getting picked slightly more in high MMRs and stuff like that, maybe in the pros. But I don't love him. Even when he is good, I just don't love him for average pubs. The stun is just awkward. He's more of this weird carry from the 5, which is one of those unique heroes where it's dude, you're just kind of stacking up this damage, getting this BKB thing. If you get, if you actually get your Ags and Ags shard and stuff. Well, actually, which one is it? Is it the shard or yeah, it's the shard that switches your position. So you have the Ags if you actually get enough money for the Ags, and otherwise it's just okay, I'm stomping and I'm setting up my Earth Split and I'm just amping up damage, which is just awkward. People don't know how to play around that very much. Then Ogre's just your average support here, one of these guys, but just the worst version. Just the brain dead easy version, but just worse. Has the opposite problem of Crystal Maiden, but the spells are just worse. Silence are pretty good overall in terms of just pressing R, but that's it. And you can kind of never count that out in your average MMR pub for team fights. Just pressing R and silencing people is very good. That's kind of why it's C and not D. but yeah, otherwise it just doesn't feel great overall. Oracle, very much a matchup based hero. Very much you have to know how to cast your abilities, who to cast them on. You have to play around your team. Yes, early on you can get a lot of kills, but just there's a higher skill cap. Much more difficult to coordinate with your team and pick it in the right game and all that kind of stuff. Although you can just stomp games with this hero if you know what you're doing. Then Marcy, just average. kind of another like, oh, I'm similar to Elder Titan that way. I'm kind of carrying from the 5 position, but it just doesn't feel as good. The laning stage isn't great. You don't like picking these melee 5s at all. And that's kind of same thing with Dawnbreaker. Just like very awkward, doesn't feel great, doesn't have reliable stuns, all these weird things about it. But you can definitely be effective if you pick these and know what you're doing, but it just isn't the best. And then Bane, surprisingly, isn't that great right now. I just feel like he is on the uptrend. He should be better than he is. You can definitely pick this hero and cast Enfeeble on people. And it's just like, haha, you have 0 damage and stuff like that. But overall, of all the heroes that it's like easy for normal players to counter, this one's pretty easy for normal players to counter because, you know, you press R and you're just sitting there the whole time. Like, imagine that's really no different than like Shadow Shaman. Like your ultimate with Bane, which is like one of the main things you do, is just like Shadow Shaman's Shackles. Like at the end of the day, really is that much different? Yeah, I mean, I get that it pierces BKB and stuff, and it's like more damage or whatever, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel as good. I think it's still going to get some buffs. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets buffs here and there, and then suddenly, like out of nowhere, it becomes S tier. Then lastly, for semi-viable heroes, just like a lot of these guys are melee, you see. Like Abaddon, almost more of a core these days. Just feels weird and awkward as a 5, you know, especially melee 5 position. Tusk, like I don't even know why this guy's here really. I mean, because it's kind of viable. Same thing with before in the 4 position. Like people just don't know how to play against it, so it's weird. Same thing with Clockwork. Like this hero's garbage, has been garbage forever, but people don't know how to play against it. So like you can stick it, you know, in this position. Omni again, like they just changed the hero. It's more of an off lane, but like if you wanted to pick at 5 and do some weird stuff with it, I guess you could. You know, like whatever, it's possible. This is, you know, keep it to the light if you have a Medusa or something, which Medusa is coming back into the meta a little bit. Definitely possible, but again, all these like melee 5s and then this Keeper of the Light. Melee 5s that don't do anything. Like this is a melee 5, he's really good, right, obviously, but these melee 5s I feel like they just don't do anything. And then this guy that's just like no stun, all damage, all mana regen, very awkward. Dazzle, if anything, you're still going to pick this hero as a 5, just because of the save alone. I mean, that's really it, and the heal and stuff like that. But I'm tempted to put this hero in F tier, honestly, because this hero was deleted after the nerfs. And then Io, again, you know, you can definitely play it if you know what you're doing, in the right matchup, in the right game. But again, you're probably going to be useless most of the time. And then another melee 5 position that has impact that I think is a generally good hero, but just as a 5, it's like, eh. Wait, what? Mirana? Wait, what? Chen? What the who did that? Who did that? Did somebody do that? Someone was punking me. No, but anyway, yeah, I don't know why this guy. I think they accidentally got there when I moved them around. Oh well. F tier, we have people probably like watching this video, like looking at it and being like, wait, what? The whole time, and just being like, this guy's an idiot and has no idea what he's doing. But they didn't watch if you watched till the end, you would have known I deleted them, and it was a joke the whole time. I was just seeing if you guys, if somebody comments right now below like, oh, there's the multiple, you didn't watch, and you didn't see that I deleted them. So the joke is actually on you, not me, for putting that in there. Bounty, not a 5. Don't pick this as a 5. Don't pick this as a 5. Although, I mean, you can actually. Don't get me wrong. It's a secret. It's kind of a secret that you can pick this as a 5, but don't do it. I don't like it. I'm biased, but I don't love it. Not a 5. 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 Not anyone. I've said this a million times. Anyone who says this is a 5, they're drunk, they're high, they don't know what they're talking about. Do not pick this as a 5, please. But yeah, these are all just different roles that people like try to pick as 5. So I'm just like putting them here as a public service announcement to not do it because it's bad. Even though it was maybe good at one time, like maybe the Wind Ranger or whatever, just don't do it now because it's bad now. So please don't do it. So anyway, that is my tier list for the 5 position for patch 7.35C. As always, guys, if you like the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.